Hey, it's Andrew, and do you guys remember gaming in secret? Like hiding under a blanket, playing on your DS at night growing up so your parents don't know that you're awake past your bedtime. I uploaded this video a couple weeks ago. It was about how Pokemon Diamond and Pearl changed my life, and it seemed like a lot of you guys in the comments have similar memories of staying up late, hiding under your blankets on your DS, and playing some good old games. Why though? Why did everybody do this, and why does everybody have a really fond memory of it? Everybody seems to have almost very specifically done it while putting their blanket over their head and hiding to try and not cast light. Obviously we all did this because we wanted to play games and have some fun without getting in trouble or caught staying up late, but I think that there might be something a little bit more specific and wonderful about playing games hidden under a blanket than we're all thinking. There might be something specifically magical about playing a handheld in bed under a blanket. A little piece to the puzzle that makes this generational pastime a little bit more special. Let's talk about it. The first game I actually remember secretly playing in bed was The Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers on the Game Boy Advance. Played it on a DS Lite because you could play GBA games on a DS Lite. This was the first game I did this with. My parents had gotten me my first system, a DS Lite, a few months before this, but the only game they had gotten me was the Scholastic Educational Zoo game that kind of sucked. It was just a ton of educational mini games. The only fun mini game I recall in this little Scholastic DS game was the one where you were lions trying to find and eat zebras, and there was blood in this game, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, months later though, I was at a friend's house and I was given the Two Towers Game Boy Advance cartridge, and since I was only really allowed to play educational games, I had to keep this one a secret. But since I had this game that I actually wanted to play, at night the DS turned on, lit up with the covers casted over my head so I didn't cast light under the door for somebody to see, and I played the Two Towers. Also, I used to suck at video games. I was really bad at the Two Towers on Game Boy Advance. I'm actually working on a video right now about Curious George, the movie, the video game on GameCube. That game was the bane of my existence for a solid year. Anyway, yeah, I kind of sucked at games, even though like 2 or 3 years later, I would go personally to beat Mega Man 2 by myself somehow. Still don't know how I did that. I just still sucked at games at this time, and for the life of me, I could not get through Moria in the Two Towers on Game Boy Advance. So I eventually just gave up on playing in secret, stopped playing, gave up, and that was what went on there until I entered my Pokemon arc. And that's when it got good. That's when playing secretly at night became incredibly immersive, exciting, and something I wanted to do every single day. I think there's something about a small screen in the dark when you're comfy, warm, tired. I think being kinda tired helps take away a little bit of the edge, and it eliminates your suspension of disbelief, especially if you're that young. Being that it's a small display in the dark, you are staring, you are locked in, and on top of that, since it's perfectly dark under that blanket, your display viewing is pretty much perfect. All of these things combine to make gaming like this such an awesome experience. You know, I think a lot of us look back on that and don't think of it as more than a kid having fun when they're not supposed to be. And I think everybody who's done it can speak to those memories. I personally played pretty much every single Pokemon game that way. I remember playing a lot of Monster Hunter that way. I later on got a PlayStation Vita and I played a ton of games that way. It was Persona, Gravity Rush, Hotline Miami. That game was really brutal, but it was freaking awesome. Also, Sound Shapes. Did you guys play Sound Shapes? Sound Shapes, for whatever reason, is awesome. I still have some of the stage music from that game stuck in my head, and I'll play it through YouTube Music every once in a while. Anyway, it's been years and years since I played games like that. I'm an adult now, or something of that sort. So why would I play games secretly under the covers in bed? Nowadays, I can just sit down at my little desk, cue Top Lane until 3 a.m., and because I care about myself and my well-being. That was kind of a lie though. Not the part about solo queuing Top Lane until 3 a.m., but the fact that it's been years and years since I played games like that. As a decent amount of you probably know, because it's like the best performing video on my channel by far, I got a Steam Deck this last year. The Steam Deck very much outperformed me. And since I got that Steam Deck, I accidentally ended up playing an entire game, big RPG, in bed, not fully under a blanket, but at least up to my torso, in bed, just playing late. And this was a really weird experience because while I was playing a game, doing something new system, it felt incredibly nostalgic. I feel like most of the time when you revisit an old experience that you had that brought joy when you were a kid, you find that it isn't as good. It's a little bit void of that joy that you found, and it makes you sad and kind of depressed, and you're emo now. Weirdly enough though, this was not that. I got Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut when it launched on Steam this year. I never played it when it launched on the PS4 and I always wanted to. So the night that it came out, I got in bed next to my girlfriend, she fell asleep, and I straight gamed. Rolling side to side when my arms got tired, fighting Mongols, samurai, hanging out with my horse, just experiencing that game, but truly experiencing it. I could feel the wind as it was guiding me, I could smell the markets. I feel like a dark room in a bed and blanket around a small handheld gaming device work almost as like a sensory deprivation chamber. For whatever reason, you were just locked into the game you were playing, unlike anywhere else you could possibly be. I just played and I played over the course of like 3 or 4 nights. I really grinded through that game. The ending brought a tear to my eye. Also, if anybody is asking, I did not kill my uncle. I am my own honor, need not of the honor that my uncle wished for me amongst the samurai. We kill Mongols, not fellow Japan homies. Funny enough, straight following my playthrough of Ghost of Tsushima, I immediately did a 100% playthrough of Lego Star Wars, The Complete Saga, the original one. Same experience pretty much, although much less intense or emotionally engaging. All the same comforts and enjoyments. The Steam Deck did that for me. You know, I've seen a lot of videos lately on YouTube in my recommended feed about gaming not being as fun anymore as it used to be, and I agree with them to an extent. We all grow up and become a little bit harder to please. Simple joys become harder to feel. Luxuries become tired and normal. Some games are amazing though. And if I had a PlayStation 4 when Ghost of Tsushima launched, I probably would have played through the entire thing, but I don't know if I would have enjoyed it this much. Something kids are far better at, for one, is suspension of disbelief. Kids aren't that smart. You can convince them anything is real if you try hard enough. And two, they have a lot more imagination because the world is still brand new, which is also why it's easy to convince them that anything is real. When you mix those two things with a wonderful game, you get to have an incredible experience. And that experience can be incredibly impactful. I think that playing games late in bed on a handheld strips away the adult elements of this equation. I think that as an adult, sometimes I'm judgmental of myself when I use my imagination, when I sell myself on something that isn't real. And this is a bit of a tangent, but I swear it'll play into the point. I've had a really rocky year adult responsibility-wise, and for like a month I worked at Best Buy. And weirdly enough, one day at work, one of the managers came to me with this odd polished rock that said Imagine on it. The real corporate mumbo jumbo reason of the rock was you were supposed to take the rock, go find a random person in the store and sell them on some random item, and it was supposed to symbolize how you can sell something out of nothing, which is really, really dystopian if I think about it. You were then supposed to return the rock to management and tell them what you imagined you can do and what you did, and I did not do that. I carried amongst normal working duties, and then I went home and kept the rock because it looked cool. This rock now sits right next to my monitor to remind me to imagine things more than sales quotas and adult responsibilities. Handheld consoles are dope and they're incredibly personal, and I think I've found a little bit of that childhood joy from being able to play my Steam Deck in bed under the covers. When I grab my Steam Deck and hop into bed and play a wonderful game, it helps me imagine that world and that adventure wherever it could be, and it's wonderful. That's it for this video. A lot of videos are being worked on and I'm putting up on this channel. I'm always working on something, and thank you guys so much for 4,000 subscribers. Blows my mind. It's actually insane. I'm starting to do little director's commentaries of videos I make and putting them up as members only videos. So if you guys are interested in the creative process, some of the thoughts around making these videos, feel free to become a member and check those out, and comment on the videos I have up telling me which ones you want me to do, because unless there's members really want me to put those up, I don't really know which ones to put up. So thank you so much to D Sanchez for being the one singular member. You're very special to me. It means the world. And hey, thank you so much for watching this video. It means a lot. Peace.